Most folks don't realize a hard truth until their heart has taken one too many beatings. The very person you desire, that irresistible magnet, is often the one who pricks your deepest wounds rather than your heart's delight. Let's be real, desire is like candy that tastes great but rots your teeth. It's not love, it doesn't connect you, nor does it fit nicely into your life. It's that irresistible pull towards someone who embodies your unresolved pain and unmet childhood cravings. And somehow, you mistake that chaos for a grand destiny. Walking into my study, every soul I've met has sung this familiar song. They know deep down these folks aren't good for them, yet they still find themselves longing for these less than stellar partners. Here's the kicker. Many think that their desire is the purest form of love, enough to build a romantic monument. But just because the flames are hot doesn't mean it's true love. No siree. It's desire, barking out like an open wound seeking another. Hey everyone, welcome to Psychologist Jeep, the corner of the internet for overthinkers, quiet feelers, and anyone who has ever confused longing with love and ended up hurting silently. Here, we say the things most people only admit at 2 a.m., like this simple truth. Desire isn't love, it's a wound. A tiny ache that follows you around, whispering that you're not enough unless someone chooses you back. If that line hit a little too close, don't worry, you're in the right place. We're not here to fix the chaos inside you. We're here to understand it together, to laugh at it, and maybe even heal a little. Before we dive deeper, take a second to like the video, share it with someone who might need it, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from or what desire has taught you. The truth is, the intensity you feel is like an injury calling out to itself. Your yearning isn't because they complete your puzzle. It's because they poke at that tender bruise you've neglected way too long. Every time they break you, they resonate with that childhood hurt screaming, "You're not enough." Each poke feels like a passionate kiss from your past. So when those old feelings bubble up, your brain does a tragic dance, confusing pain for passion. Why? Well, your psyche knows only the familiar, not what's actually good for you. We often don't fall for the healthy ones, oh no. Instead, we're drawn to those who match the chaos of our past, the emotional shenanigans we grew up watching on repeat. If your childhood was filled with the race for love, you'll instinctively chase that one who plays hard to get. If anxiety was your childhood anthem, you'll find comfort in partners who spin you off your axis. And if proving your worth was the name of the game back then, you'll cling to those who leave your worth suspiciously unacknowledged. It's no wonder people often get addicted to the wrong partner. They feel like home, not the affectionate kind, but the sort that gives you a sense of survival. We confuse that chaotic intensity with love simply because calmness is a stranger we've never invited to the party. Most of our lives have been spent in the chaotic mess, so feeling peaceful almost seems like something's off. Love, to us, is often an exhausting pursuit rather than the serene gift it should be. With a wounded psyche, familiarity feels more like love than healthy emotional bonds ever could. It's a brutal realization, but it makes sense when you consider why we stick around for the unworthy ones. They fit into the pattern of pain we've grown accustomed to, feeling all warm and cozy, while clarity and calmness leave us twitchy and questioning what's missing. But let's flip the script. Real love doesn't leave you anxious or confused. It doesn't have you begging for clarity like a lost pup. True love is a soothing balm, calm and reassuring, even when it's foreign. For those battered hearts, that soothing calmness can be downright terrifying. After living in chaos, that peace can feel unsettling, like a missing puzzle piece just because nothing is currently hurting. Embracing that calm may be the hardest challenge of all, but it's also the most rewarding. Isn't it amusing how we often find ourselves chasing after the ones who seem least interested? We think we're pursuing a romantic connection, but really, we're just activating our emotional injuries. It's like an old wound getting a poke, and instead of recognizing the discomfort, we misinterpret it as swells of affection. What a mix-up! That ache isn't love, it's an alarm bell ringing loud and clear, reminding us of what we've suffered before. And boy, do we get carried away. We end up weaving elaborate fantasies about our crushes, envisioning romantic futures that will never materialize. It's as if we become architects of a grand dream castle where the reality of the person we're smitten with doesn't even make the blueprint. Instead of seeing who they really are, we cling to what they might be someday. What a brilliantly deceptive trick our minds play on us. Here's the kicker. We're often enamored by the hopeful moments they dish out, ignoring the consistent disappointment that lurks in the shadows. We cling to the idea of potential over plain truth, and let me tell you, that's no way to build a relationship. We're loving a ghost of who they could turn into a polished figure that doesn't actually exist in our reality. It's more about our emotional wounds daydreaming than genuine affection. Desire, my friends, is a clever illusion that poses as vibrancy, but in reality, it just breeds dependence. It traps us in a cycle where emotional abandonment, longing, and spiritual starvation tango together like a disheveled dance troupe. We convince ourselves it's a soul connection, but it's really a sad reenactment of our old wounds parading around in familiar costumes. The truth hurts because it's so real. Our deepest longings often target those who can't reciprocate our feelings. Take a step back and watch the pattern unfold. The people we desire most are often those who carry the hurt we thought we had buried. The tricky part? We mistakenly think we're in love with them when, in fact, we're trying to heal ourselves through them. We want their love to fill the void left by someone who couldn't, hoping for a closure that's about as tangible as smoke in the breeze. It's like trying to quench thirst with salt water, only leading us deeper into despair. Familiarity dances with desire, and that tango can be intoxicating. Suddenly, the person we're chasing is less about romance and more about reflection. They become a mirror reflecting our unhealed wounds back to us, showcasing our deepest fears. This chaotic cycle repeatedly makes us feel hurt, not loved. It's like screaming for badges of validation when what we really need is a hug from ourselves. So, if you find yourself tangled in this web of longing, don't ask, "Why do I want them?" Instead, flip the script and inquire, "What part of me flares up in their presence?" That's where the revelation lies. Once you hit that sweet spot of understanding, the neediness dissipates, and suddenly that shimmering illusion fades away. It's in recognizing that our desires signal a need to heal, disconnecting from the notion that we want that person, we just want to stop the hurt. If you take a moment to reflect on your romantic history, a peculiar pattern might emerge. The individuals that sparked the most intense emotions weren't those who showered you with love. Oh no. Instead, they were the ones who ignited a tempest within you. They awakened feelings long buried, moving the deep, dormant parts of your heart that haven't seen the light of day since childhood. These connections stirred up anxiety, excitement, and a hefty dose of vulnerability, all tossed into a blender labeled intensity. Fun, right? It's this raw intensity that your inner self craves, mistaking wild emotional chaos for genuine chemistry. You may think you're on the hunt for love, but your past wounds are hungry for adrenaline. This isn't about soothing heartstrings. It's about waking that old emotional monster that lies in wait. Every person you were obsessed with has one key similarity. They all tugged at the threads of your oldest, most unresolved memories. The wounds you thought were healed but were just lying low, patiently biding their time. Your psyche isn't just flipping coins when it comes to attraction. It's as strategic as a game of chess, moving with precision rather than whim. The folks you find yourself inexplicably drawn to don't magically check the boxes of love and kindness. Instead, they are often the unavailable, distant, or emotionally iced individuals. It's not mere coincidence. They are echoes of that emotional framework molded in your early years. When they make a match with your deep-seated wounds, it feels like a thunderbolt of recognition hits you square between the eyes. They awaken parts of you that were long forgotten. In the presence of such wrong people, the numbness fades, and you begin to feel an electrifying pull toward them. It's like finding a cosmic connection, or so it seems. Yet, what's really happening is that your unconscious is playing a merry little game of completion, making you repeat old emotional patterns instead of healing them. You think love's ignited? Nope. What's ignited is some ancient emotional gas tank that's been waiting for make-up fuel. So why do we find ourselves playing the guessing game with commitment phones, or dancing with those who keep us at arm's length? Here's where it gets sticky. Your heart thinks it's making a choice, but it's your wound waving the flag. That familiar aroma of emotional chaos is simply a bad cologne reminding you of your past. If you grew up seeking validation, you chase the elusive partner. If you felt invisible, you're lured to those oblivious to your existence. And those of you feeling abandoned just adore the ones who inevitably leave. All this chasing and yearning can unleash a whirlwind of destruction. People mistake that intensity for real love and dive in head first without a life vest. You're not just magnetically drawn to a person, you're seeking to reclaim an emotion tied to your past, an unfinished business that has nothing to do with them. This new relationship is a stage, but the script is your life story, and good luck asking someone else to write about your past with their fingers. In short, you're trying to enact a repair job on a narrative they didn't author, and frankly, they can't fix it. The depth of your wound far surpasses the current relationship. It's older, more profound, it's you. Until you recognize this cycle of desire, heartbreak will keep knocking like an unwanted guest. So, here's to discovering the difference between a passionate spark and a flickering reminder of what was, because only then can one unearth healing instead of repetitive heartache. Once you truly grasp this concept, it's like the lights come on, everything shifts and spins into focus. Suddenly, your deepest yearnings make perfect sense alongside your most crushing disappointments. Ever notice how the one you pine over seems to fade ever farther away? Or how attraction morphs into agony? It's a wild ride, one where you often cling to folks who wouldn't bat an eyelash if you disappeared. Why, oh why, is your heart drawn to drama instead of tranquility? Turns out it's not your heart making those choices, it's the wounds. And don't worry, your wounds aren't out to sabotage you, they're actually trying to heal. Think about it. Why do you continuously find yourself in the same type of relationship? It's like a broken record, everyone grooving to the same tune of emotional déjà vu. It's really a case of visiting the scene of the old heartbreak over and over. Why? Because that's where you got stuck and disconnected from your true self. Desire has a funny little way of dragging you backward like a clingy ex, while love gently nudges you forward into brighter territory. Got the picture? Desire feels like falling into a chaotic pit of nostalgia, whereas love feels like a warm hug from a friendly puppy. Desire can suffocate you until you question your worth, but love embraces and pots you up into something even better. Isn't it a relief to see there's a difference? When you embark on the path of genuine healing, things start to shift. Bye-bye to those old, pesky desires that once had a hold on you. Those butterflies in your stomach for the people who made you anxious will take flight. The ones who triggered your past turmoil? Well, they're suddenly less appealing. The electrifying spark you once craved might morph into an alert signal. Instead of intensity, you'll be yearning for clarity and peace. Your nervous system will give a little happy dance as it rejects the drama it used to chase like a junkie needing a fix. Yes, indeed, healing rewrites your emotional playlist. It takes you off the wild roller coaster and places you in a serene park where love can blossom without anxiety tugging at your sleeve. But don't confuse these peaceful feelings with losing passion, it's really evolution in disguise. When the trauma bonds start to fade, you'll find that passion based on pain was never true passion at all. You'll stop desiring those who leave you bruised and battered. No more begging for attention or settling for vague relationships. Trust me, the boundaries will shift, and you'll embrace choices that shock you with excitement, not fear. The people your heart aches for will finally match your love language. And here's where the plot thickens. Desire isn't ready to let go just yet. It might make a dramatic comeback, tempting you once more, a last-ditch effort to lure you back to the chaos. But here's the joy, you'll recognize it for what it is. You'll start building relationships that nurture your spirit, ensuring the ones that feel like home won't hurt you. They'll bring healing just by being themselves, and in a world so tumultuous, that's the sweetest gift of all. If you felt a twinge of truth in this journey, don't forget to like, comment, and hop on board with Psychologist Jeep. Let's explore more together.